What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? I am obviously LooseCannonRobu because you are watching my channel, so obviously that's me. What's up? Anyhow, there's going to be a little rant of mine about the Xbox One ranters on the internet, you know, all the little crybabies and stuff on the internet, on YouTube. And I got some notes here because there's a lot to go over, so this video might be a little lengthy. So just kind of bear with me. But, so let's go ahead and get started, okay? First, I got these broke down into the complaints I've heard, and then my response to that complaint. So here we go. First complaint is that the Xbox One is an entertainment console, not just for games. Okay, first of all, the PS3 is not just for video games. You can also watch Blu-rays on it, DVDs, play music on it. You can watch Netflix on it. It's not just a video game device. The PS2 was not just a video game device. You could play DVDs on it. You could play CDs on it. The PS1, you could play CDs on that as well as play video games. Okay? The first Xbox, you could watch DVDs on it, providing you had that little remote thing, dongle thing. But yeah, you can still do that. The Xbox 360 could play DVD movies, watch Netflix, you watch the CW app. You know, it's not just about video games. So this whole complaint about, oh, the Xbox One is just an entertainment console, it's not about gamers. They're not, Xbox don't care about gamers. You know, you're just trying to be little crybabies and nitpick about stuff. Look back all the other previous like 2-3 generations and you'll see that it's been the same thing. It's not just about video games. It's been about video games, about home entertainment, movies, music, social media like integration of Twitter and Facebook. So get over it, people. This is the way the world is, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. Second, XBL costs money. PSN's free. Okay, first, ever since the Xbox first came out, I'm talking about the OG Xbox, that big clunking black box, you know, back in like 2000. You know, ever since that first come out, you had Xbox Live, and you had to pay for it. Okay? Way back before there was even a free PSN, a free offering or whatever, and people was like, oh, this is awesome. So many people jumped on board to pay for it. Why? Because it was new. Because it was innovative. Because it was something that hasn't been done before, and it brought people together to play online against other players. You could, you know, you didn't have to worry about no longer going, oh man, I beat that game. And somebody like, no, you didn't. No, you could show them through Xbox Live, through your like, you know, like playing online with people that like you could play co-op and you could beat the game and stuff. Bring a whole new level of things. You had to pay for that. Xbox Live carried over to the Xbox 360. Once in, you had to pay for that. And along with these fees came the introduction of they introduced a gamer score, you know, achievements, stuff like that, which brought a whole new level of gaming. You know, like no longer it was just about, oh man, I'm going to play this game and beat it and be done with it. No, you have this like insane need to get 100% completion of everything. Why? Because of the introduction of achievements. That's something else that came along with Xbox Live. Also, with Xbox Live, you know, you've got the introduction of apps on the 360 now. You got the CW app. Well, I don't have to have, you know, like cable service or satellite service to watch The Vampire Diaries, a show I really love to watch. Supernatural, Arrow. I can watch all three of those shows on the CW app on my Xbox. That's the kind of service you get when you pay for Xbox Live. You know what you get when you get the free PSN service, and they're just like throwing the whole PlayStation Network out there, and they're like, here you go, and you don't have to really pay for it. You know what you get? You get crappy servers. You get servers that are not secure. They've been hacked before. PSN went down for like a month. The whole time, Xbox Live gamers were gaming along online the whole time. I had a PS3 at that time. I was gaming online at that time on the PS3 when this happened. So guess what? It made me want to stop. You know what you also get with the PSN with the free service? You get crappy servers that constantly disconnect you from the PSN service. You know how many times in the last week that I've been playing my PS3 and it's got booted the hell off of it? Like, and this little pop-up thing says, you've been signed out of PlayStation Network. In the middle of a game. Why? Xbox Live don't have that problem. You know what you get with the free PSN service? Constantly being bumped off the network for updates. It seems like every single week, we're going to mandatory update, whatever. You know, it's like, really? Really? Obviously, the PS3 isn't as good as what these Sony fanboys are complaining about. You know, they're sitting there and they're complaining. They're talking about, I'm not going to pay from like $60 a year for Xbox Live. I'll get my PSN for free. You know, I mean, like I was playing, what was it, WrestleMania? Or I'm sorry, the new SmackDown game, WWE 13. I was playing that on the PSN. That game, when you were playing with other people on PSN, was glitchy as fuck. You know how many times I went to go like run up against the ropes, throw somebody a clothesline, and it was just like, yeah, a lot. You know why I don't mind paying $60 for PSN or for Xbox Live? Because I get good service. Because I get great apps. Because I get the reliability and the stability of the network that comes along with paying that premium price. Okay, when I pay $60, that $60 goes to research and development for Xbox Live people. That goes into marketing. That goes into buying more servers so I don't have to worry about lag and slowdown in my games and getting booted off the network all the time. That's what that money goes to. When you don't pay for any kind of online service, basically the old adage is you get what you pay for. You want something for free, then you're going to get crappy service. Plain and simple. Alright, on to my next little rant here. Used game fees. Okay, they was talking about how like, and this isn't even really a finalized thing. They don't know how much they're going to charge you or anything else, and people are getting all up in the air about it. But basically the gist is, with the new Xbox One, if you're going to, like say you buy a game, okay, you bring the game home, mandatory install it to your hard drive on your Xbox One. Okay, cool, whatever. Then you take that disc out, put it back in your into your case, go about your day, play it straight from the hard drive or from the cloud, whatever. Okay, anybody who has a profile on that console, from everything that I've understood, is going to be able to play. So like my wife has a profile on the Xbox One. She'll be able to play the game that I bought. I won't have to buy 2 or 3 different games if, you know, my goddaughter comes over or whatever and wants to play Xbox One. Okay? Anybody who has a profile on that system will be able to play the game that I installed to my system. Now, I take that game over to, say, my friend's house. Okay? As long as I log in with my profile, my Xbox Live profile, I can play that game on their console. Because like, I'm visiting them. I'm going to play my game on my profile that I paid for. So Microsoft's like, okay, cool, we'll let you do that. Now, that's a good way for like your friends to be able to play with you and try out the game, see what it's about. You know, so like they can be like, oh man, I really like this game, man. I gotta go buy it or whatever, man. You know, and guess what? If you like it that much, then take your happy ass out to the damn store and go fucking pay for it. Okay? Quit wanting handouts. Everybody's up in arms about this. Oh, well, they're blocking used games and they're going to charge me a fee to play, you know, my friend's game and stuff like that. Well, guess what? You want a handout. That's all that is. You want somebody to be like, here's a game that I paid for and now you get for free that you can play. Guess what happens when you do that? When I let you borrow this game. And you play this game, you beat it. You no longer have the incentive to want to go out and buy the game. You already know what the ending of the game is like. You've already beat the boss. You've already completed the missions. You got the gold. You got the woman. Saved the princess. You know, whatever. Okay? You did all this. You slayed the dragon. Now, you give that game back to me. Like, I'm done. Whatever. Now, the developer, the publisher, and Microsoft don't see any of that money. All I see is that one sale from me that I paid that money for. Now think about it this way. I have 10 friends. I buy one copy of this game. One copy for $60. I let 10 of my friends borrow this game. Okay, all 10 of my friends beat this game, whatever, makes the rounds, comes back to me. Let's say on average 2, maybe 3 people buy that game after that. You know, they're like, you know what, I didn't do everything. I'm a completionist. I need to get this game so I can 100% it. I can get all the achievements. Okay? So those 3 people on average out of 10 people go and buy this game. The other 7 people got to play for free. Let me ask you this, people. What if you spent time, money, hard work into doing something? You put hours and hours, months, you know, sometimes even years of yourself into making something. Whether it's a piece of art, whether it's a drawing, whether it's making a movie, whether it's writing a book, whether it's making a YouTube video, you know, making music, whatever it is. How would you feel if I just came along and was like, hey man, let me borrow this game, or let me borrow this movie, or let me borrow this piece of artwork, or let me borrow, you know, this thing that you spent a lot of time on, that you spent time away from your family. You spent time away from your daughter, your son, your wife, your husband. You missed family barbecues. You missed birthdays. You missed anniversaries. You missed you know, Christmas or Thanksgiving because you was busting your butt so hard to get this out on time. Now I just take it and I distribute it to everybody else. Nobody is going to pay for that after I've already given them a copy of that. After I've already like, hey man, look what my friend did over here. Joe Blow made this awesome song, man. He did all the beats himself, and he, you know, did all the lyrics and the chorus and everything, man. Here, I'm gonna burn you a copy. Oh, that's cool. That's fine. Yeah, people are bumping your music. That's all well, fine and good, right? But you're trying to sell this. You're trying to make a profit. You're trying to justify the reason why you spent so long working on this. You're trying to make something of yourself. You're trying to get your product out there. You're trying to get a name out there for yourself. And I go along and just throw that out there. Nobody buys it from you because I distributed it for free. How would you feel? Money coming out of your pocket. You wouldn't like that too much, would you? Then maybe you should think about that when you're buying, you know, games out of a store and stuff like that, or you go to a store and you want to buy a game, but you're like, no, my friend has this, I'll just borrow it from him. Or you complain about the policies on Xbox One. Maybe you should think about how you would feel if you was that person. Next. Oh, also, real quick, I just want to mention real quick, here on the YouTube community, you know how many people I've watched here on YouTube that's been support your developers, don't buy used games. GameStop is a piece of shit. Don't go there and buy used games. Support your developers. If you love the game, you like them, buy it so that you can give them more money so they can continue to make these games that you like. And now that the Xbox makes this policy so you pretty much have to buy a new game, so you have to support the developers and support their hard work and give them money, now everybody's up in arms and bitching about it. So which one is it? You either want to support the developers, support their hard work, support their families, or you don't. You can't have it both ways. Next. Current gen controllers won't work with the new Xbox One. Duh. Xbox One controllers didn't work on the 360. So what makes you think the 360 is going to work? Controller is going to work with the Xbox One? You know, Nintendo controllers didn't work with the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo controllers didn't work with the N64. N64 controllers didn't work with the GameCube, or maybe they did. I can't remember, but either way, you get my point, right? The point is that, you know, through generations, most of the time, you can't carry over your current controller to play next-gen games on your next-gen system. And anyhow, that begs the question, why would you want to? You're paying $400, $500, $600 for these brand new consoles. Even if you wait a little bit, you're spending out $200, $300 for this console. That's good money. Good money you're working hard for. You're saving. Don't you want the true next-gen experience? Why would you want to take that same controller from last gen, even though it's amazing? The Xbox 360 controller is hands down the best controller anybody has ever used. Period. Bar none. They've actually gained awards for the design of the controller. But that being said, as much as I love it, I don't want to play that controller on my next gen system. Okay? So there's that. Also another complaint I've heard, no backwards compatible. You know, Sony, a lot of Sony fanboys I've seen on the internet, all up in rage. Oh, that's not, Xbox One's not going to be backwards compatible. Oh. PS4 ain't going to be backwards compatible. And in fact, let's go back to this generation. PS3 used to support backwards compatibility with the PS2. Then they yanked it. You know why? Because it costs money to put emulation chips in that console, which ups the price of the console that you are going to already complain about the price on. You know, if a console's $400, the emulation chip costs an extra $50 to put in there. Now you're going to complain because it's an extra $50. Now you're paying out $450. You know, if they supported backwards compatibility through like software updates or whatever, guess what? That's going to be incentive for you not to go buy a 360. Which the 360 in its own right is one hell of a console. So why would they want to take sales away from that last generation just to put it in this new generation? Okay? And when Sony yanked that backwards compatibility from the PS3, guess what I heard? I used to be friends with a hardcore Sony fanboy, and I heard nothing but excuses. I looked on the internet, Sony fanboys, PS3 fanboys, all over the internet, excuses for why they did it. So now you tell me, how come it's okay for your console maker, for Sony, you know, for PlayStation, to yank that? Which I think is worse, when they give something to you and then they take it back, than just not giving it to you at all. How is that okay? But it's not okay when Microsoft doesn't want to support it on their next-gen console. Maybe you should take a little bit of a look at yourself and think about stuff before you speak, and about how you was just justifying, you know, a few years ago what Sony did. That's all I'm saying. Next. Always online. That seems to be a big stickler all of a sudden, you know. People complain about always online. I don't want my console to be connected always online to the internet. Always online, always online, always online sucks, you know, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me break this down for you. What do you think is happening now? You're watching this YouTube video, I'm guaranteeing you, on a computer that's connected to the internet, on a cell phone that's somehow connected to the internet through Wi-Fi or through 3G or through LTE or 4G or whatever. You're watching this on your iPad or your Android tablet, or you're watching this on a Microsoft Surface Pro. Somehow connected to the internet. Constantly. You know how I know this? Because YouTube is an internet service. So now, think about this. Your Xbox 360 is online. Pretty much constantly has the ability to be always online as long as you have an internet source in your home. The first Xbox took a big, big leap, only included broadband in their console. They was the first ones to really push that, to be innovative, when nobody else wanted to take that chance. And it paid off, because they knew, they were smart enough to know that as time goes on, more and more homes are going to be connected to broadband. That it was an innovative thing right at the year 2000. Not many people had it, but they knew that it was growing and growing and growing. By 2005 or 2006, when the 360 came out, adoption rate for broadband was at like 30-40%. And that's in like 5 years that it gained from just a small, like little niche of like 8-9% to like 30%, 40%. Now, as it stands, as of December of 2012, the last census, as far as I'm aware of, the last census they took, broadband adoption in the USA is at 64%. That's over half of the homes in this country connected constantly to an online service. Whether it's through DSL, whether it's through cable, whether it's, whatever, you got broadband high-speed internet. And a lot of these people that are complaining on the internet obviously have internet to complain about. They obviously are always online somehow. They're connected to their Xbox 360. They're gaming online with their 360, but then talking about, oh, the Xbox One always being online, I don't want it. You have no right to sit there and complain. If you sit there and you have internet in your home at this moment, you've had internet for like the last 3-4 years in your home, and you've had your 360, your PS3, whatever, connected to the internet, and you've been gaming online with it in the last few years. That is an always online, always connected service when you're connected to the internet like that. What's the difference? You're always online anyhow. Like I said, your cell phones are always online. Your iPads, they got 3G, or LTE versions of them now. You got them to like mine, so like I can use on my Wi-Fi service. You know how many times I've seen people bust out their cell phones, because everybody has a cell phone nowadays, and most people have smartphones. You know how many times I've seen people, watching a TV show, watching a movie, watching people playing their kids play in the park, watching other people fix their car, whatever. And they're watching videos online on YouTube. They're commenting their statuses on Facebook. They're tweeting. They're Snapchatting. They're whatever. Because that device is always connected to the internet. Seemingly that's okay for your cell phone, but not for the Xbox One. Maybe you need to quit nitpicking a little bit. Maybe you need to take a step back and realize the kind of world that we live in now is an always online, always connected world. And maybe if you got such a problem with the Xbox One being always online, always connected to be able to play your games, then maybe you should just trash your cell phone. Go get a dumb phone, a little flip phone, all you can do is press, like 10 keys on it. Why don't you go get a home phone service? Why don't you trash your iPad or your tablet? Because obviously you're going to have a problem with that too, right? Just saying. Next. Complaint I've heard. The gaming headsets that work with the 360 controller won't work with the next-gen controller. You know how many times I've heard people complain about the Xbox 360 headset, how shitty it was, how they kept breaking, how the sound quality was shit, and now all of a sudden you're championing it. Oh, the great 360 headset. Now that it's not going to support for the next gen controller, just because you want something to bitch about. And then anyhow, here's the thing: do you really think that right now the Xbox Live being the social chatting service the way it is, that they're not going to include a better headset? Something that's newer? Something that maybe with a mic picks up better? Something maybe the ear set picks up better? Maybe it'll have 2 ear sets. Maybe it'll have stereo input, so you'll be able to hear from both sounds. You know, maybe it'll be a mid-range level headset. Did you ever think about that? No. You just want to bitch. You want to sit there and complain when you don't even know all the facts yet. Once again, take a step back, people. Chill the fuck out. Next. Let's get to some of my complaints about the Xbox. The new one. The Xbox One. The design of this system. Looks like shit. I'm an Xbox fan, but it looks like shit, people. It really does. It looks like an old VHS or a Betamax system. Apple has championed the fact that now we look at things and see them as beautiful, as elegant. You used to buy, think about this, when you bought your Nintendo, was you like, oh man, that Nintendo is ugly. When you bought your Super Nintendo, your N64, your Sega Genesis, your Dreamcast, was you like, oh man, these things are boxy and ugly? No, you didn't care because it was a game system. Apple came out and they championed the whole thing of like what something that can look like that's elegant, streamlined, curves, it's sexy, it's pretty. You just want to hold it and touch it and feel it. Very much sort of sexual even. Like the smooth curves, like a smooth curve of a woman. Yeah. But anyhow, that Xbox One, I don't like the design of it. Let's just leave it at that. The live TV feature, had this been something that Microsoft would have, brought to their Xbox 360 console on launch, would have been something that I could have gotten behind. Back then, not as many people was cutting the cord like they are today. In today's world of online service, you have streaming service. I don't actually have cable service. I just have internet through my cable service. I watch all my stuff through Netflix, like most people. I watch all my stuff from the CW app, for the shows I like from CW. Or I wait for the Blu-ray TV season or DVD version of the TV season to come out, and then I buy it and watch it that way. I'm not going to pay $90 for TV service. That to me is ridiculous. All the commercials, like you get, sometimes you get maybe like 10 minutes of a show and 20 minutes of commercials. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to pay for that. Now, if we ever got like an a la carte system, like a lot of people are thinking about what we should be doing, then yeah, maybe I'd pick it up. I'd pick up a few like stations. I'd be willing to pay the cable company for like the 10 stations I would watch. But beyond that, I'm not going to. And having this, live TV feature might be okay for people who have TV already, but it's not going to make me, and I'm sure it's not going to make other people go out and pay for, $80, $90 worth of TV service just to use this feature. I think they're like a day late and a dollar short. They should have included this in last gen, when more people had live TV service. The 500 gigabyte hard drive with the mandatory installs, that's going to have to happen on the Xbox One. I don't think 500 gigs is enough. I think that they should have at least included a terabyte or 2 terabytes. Now they're talking about like they got USB 3.0 ports on it, so you'll be able to probably hook up external drives to save your data to that and stuff like that, so it won't be so taxing on the 500 gig hard drive, which is cool. But that's still an extra added expense. And the fact that the hard drive isn't going to be user replaceable like it is in the PS3 or the 360 Slim. So I think if you're going to give us $500 gigabyte hard drives, at least allow us to user replace it. Let me be able to pull it out, replace it with a 2.5 inch SATA laptop drive like you can with the PS3. Well, the 360. Let me replace it myself, put in a terabyte. 2 terabytes. That's all I'm saying. I can understand why they didn't add the high gigabyte console, the terabytes or whatever. because it would have bumped cost up, and it's probably already going to be about a $500 console anyhow. So I understand why they didn't. They try to do it to keep costs down, but let me replace it if I think it's not enough for me. That's all I'm saying. My final thoughts. I got a little section here on final thoughts. The Xbox One reveal event was to show off the console, the controller, the live TV services, and stuff like that. It was not indicative of that's going to be it. That's all the Xbox One's going to be, an entertainment console. They was getting that stuff out of the way so they could probably, at least I'm presuming, go to E3 and just hit you with game after game after game after game after game. Things you want to see. You know, you want to play the new Madden, you want to play the new FIFA. Here's some Call of Duty. You want this brand new IP. Well, guess what? We got 4 of them. You know, here's game after game after game of what gamers really want to see. They just did this little thing to show you off the console, to get it out there. And by the way, it's something that Sony didn't do with the PS4, and I was really disappointed by. Their comment was, "Oh, it's just, you know, a motherboard and it's basically a computer in the box. The box doesn't, what it looks like doesn't matter." No, it does matter. And it matters to a lot more gamers than me. So at least Microsoft showed that off. They showed off what the controller was going to look like. It isn't a gimmick controller like the Wii U. You know, they showed off that they're going to include Blu-ray. That, you know, they're using they're going to have 8 gigs of RAM in the console. Now, whether that's DDR3, DDR5, nobody knows at this point, as of this video recording. But at least, you know, they showed off what it looks like. They give you a couple specs, just kind of wet your lips a little bit, you know, on what you can look forward to in the future. Too many people are getting up on their soapbox and just yelling to the mountains to whoever will listen to them, just to complain. Okay, I can guarantee you, you know, if there is 100,000 people complaining about the Xbox One right now, I guarantee you at least 50,000 of those are just complaining to complain, and they'll be the first ones in line at GameStop, at Target, at Best Buy, at Walmart to buy this console. Because it's happened before, and obviously it'll happen again. And maybe we should take a step back and analyze you, the people out there who are like ranting about this, about how Xbox One sucks, you know, give me entertainment, me games, me controller. Maybe you should be happy that you even have the opportunity for Microsoft to make this, that you have the opportunity to go buy this. Okay? Maybe you should be thankful, if you're a PlayStation fanboy, that there is competition in the market. Because I can guarantee you, just like I used to be a huge wrestling fan. I used to be a professional wrestler. Okay? I loved watching wrestling in the 90s, in the early 2000s. WWE bought up all the competition and now they suck. Their product is stale. Why? Because they don't have to innovate no more. They're the big boys on the block. They own it all. There's no reason to try anymore. There's no reason to make their product innovative, to keep on pushing the envelope, to keep being entertaining. It's grown extremely stale. And maybe you PS3 fanboys and stuff who complain about the Xbox One so much, getting up on your soapbox and screaming to anyone who will listen, maybe you should think about this. If Microsoft didn't exist, hell, even if Nintendo didn't exist, if there was only Sony, there's only PlayStation, do you really think you would see the innovation from them that you're seeing? Probably not. You probably, had this been like, had Microsoft never jumped to the scene to make a game console, had Nintendo dropped out of the game service 10, 15 years ago, you know what you would have seen? You'd still be seeing games on either CDs or DVDs, because they wouldn't even care to innovate anymore. They'd have all your money, all the business, all the sales, no need to listen to the fans and what they want. Maybe you should be thankful for the fact that competition drives people to be successful. Who wins? Us, the gamers. the consumers, the people who want to buy these consoles, the people who want to buy the games, the people who want innovation, the people who want Blu-rays, dual-layer Blu-rays. They ain't happy with CDs or DVDs anymore. They want their games to be innovative. They want great storylines, great gameplay. They don't want to be handed this same shit time after time. That's what competition brings to the table. Why don't you, instead of complaining so damn much, before the console was even out, talking about Xbox One sucks, PS4 wins, maybe you should think about, yeah, you could be a fan of Sony. You could be a fan of Microsoft. You could tweet to your heart's content that you think that one company or another killed it in their press event over the other. Champion your people, champion them, be the strong one for them. Grab that innovation by the balls and force them to keep innovating. Buy their products if you like them. If you don't like the Xbox One, don't buy it. Nobody's forcing you to. If you like the PS4, or if you hate the PS4 and you like the Xbox One, buy the Xbox One, don't buy the PS4. If you literally hate it that much. But maybe, just maybe, you can find it within yourself to stop complaining, to realize that you have it better than some Indonesian kid who wants a bowl of rice. Some Ethiopian kid with a distended belly because they haven't had food in 2 months. You think they'd like to play a console? Hell, they wouldn't even care if it was a regular Nintendo system. They would kill for the opportunity to play that. So maybe, just maybe, you should find it within your heart to love both companies. Buy your system that you love the most. Buy your PS4, buy your Xbox One. Then maybe 6 months to a year, year and a half later, once you have the money, once the price drop down to what you're willing to pay for it, the games that come out that you want to buy for, the exclusives, whatever, go buy the other system. Enjoy it. Because I'm here to tell you, people, eventually what's going to happen if you keep being dickheads, eventually you're going to realize how great you had it when it's all taken away from you. So this has been LooseCannonRobu here to rant about the ranters.